Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you guys the books that I read in January and a little bit of what I'm reading right now. So I have my reading journal here that I'm going to be referring to because it's gonna be easier for everybody that way, I think. I started off the year very strongly with the audiobook for You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. It came out at some point last year. I don't know exactly when, I don't remember. But I remember not having any interest in it when it first came out. One of my friends really loves his books though, so I don't know. I saw it available on Libby, so I got it, and oh my god, it blew my mind. So this book is not for the faint of heart. It is for a very particular type of person, I think. It's very rough, like rough around the edges, coarse, like I don't know. It's an edgy, like dark book. So the premise of this book, You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White, is a trans man named Crane in sort of like a post-apocalyptic kind of world where it's pretty similar to the current, world that we're living in, but there are several like hives, they call them, where bugs, specifically worms and flies, kind of like tell the humans to do their bidding and then they do it. It sounds really weird out loud, but you just gotta read it, trust me. I will say that there's not a lot of world building in the book. They kind of just say like, this is what's happening, and then it's definitely very character driven, which I loved personally. I loved being inside of Crane's mindset, kind of. It's in third person, but we are, I believe, if I remember correctly, but we are so like intertwined with what Crane is thinking throughout these. So anyway, let me get into the summary. So it's like a post-apocalyptic thing where like these worms and flies like run their little culty thing going on, and of course Crane is a part of that. And when Crane accidentally gets pregnant, unwanted, unplanned, the hive tells him to keep it. And of course, this creates a lot of body dysmorphia, like just general, unwellness within Crane. So it's just like, and then the story, proceeds from there. This book was so good. I gave it 5 stars. It's obviously got themes of like pregnancy, motherhood, identity, like I would say, I don't know, grief, yeah, like community. This book is just really good. Okay, so if you're gonna like read one book that I mentioned today, make sure that it is You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White, because chef's kiss. The next book that I read in January was Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay, and I was so surprised because, as you guys know, Paul Tremblay became one of my favorite authors in 2025. Like, I was just like reading all of his books, and I really didn't like this one. I felt it was really boring. It was very hard for me to push through, and I was just really unimpressed. Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay is about a pregnant woman who is kind of in the start of a zombie like apocalypse. Her husband dies pretty early on. Sorry if that's a spoiler. I don't think so. If it happens within the first 25 pages, it's not a spoiler. And she pretty much goes to be with one of her older friends. Like older as in they don't connect as often as like close friends would, I would say. So it's like a old friend that, like, you know, that you invite them to stuff, but you're not like hanging out one-on-one. She goes to her friend's house because she's a doctor, and like tells her like she got scratched by one of the zombies or something. And so the first half of the book is just navigating, like getting to the hospital so that she can try to save herself and her baby, or her baby, whichever. Yeah, this book just really didn't do it for me. The characters were very unlikable. There were two side characters that I actually enjoyed, and that's about it. That's the only part I enjoyed about this book, really. So, Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay, I ended up giving it 1 star, which is crazy to me, considering all of his other books are pretty much 5 stars for me. But yeah, I listened to that as an audiobook. And next up, we've got Skin by Kathy Koja, and I really enjoyed this book. It took kind of a little bit of getting used to, because the Kathy Koja's writing style is very kind of like flow of consciousness type thing, you know, like it's very kind of choppy but flowery a little bit, but not in a bad way. I don't know. It took me a while to get used to it, like at least probably like the first 50 or so pages, and even then I don't think I was married to it. I think it took me about like 70 pages to really get into it, but once I did get into it, I was hooked. This book transported me into like the most atmospheric type of like vibe, like escapism. It was great. Skin by Kathy Koja is about two women whose lives kind of get intertwined with each other. We've got Tess, and she is a metal sculptor, and we've got BB, and she's a dancer. They meet one day and they kind of just decide, they agree to like try to collab together on a project, and that turns into a whole thing. Tess and BB get really close. The like collaboration that they do, it's amazing. Okay, so Tess is like a very like starving artist type, and BB is kind of like, you know, one of those it girls, like everybody wants to be her friend, everybody admires her, she's outgoing, you know, and because of that, kind of, she's a little bratty. So they're very different people, but they work with each other so well. And, you know, chaos ensues because girls can never just have fun. I love this book. It is so good, and I highly recommend it. It was really good, and I'm typically pretty good at spotting things that are gonna happen, and this book took me by surprise with a few different things. Like I don't know. And a lot of the characters in it are very likable until they're not. And yeah, I highly recommend this book. I gave it 4 stars, but I was going back and forth for a day or two before I wrote my entry between 4 and 5 stars. And ultimately I decided that if I was having so much trouble deciding, then I should just go with 4 stars instead of 5. And the only reason I didn't go with 5 stars is because which I don't know, this kind of makes me want to give it 5 stars anyway, but I wanted more answers. But the way that this is written through Tess's point of view, this is another third person book, but like we're very into Tess's head, I believe. And yeah, third person Tess's, but like through Tess's point of view. And Tess is just a type of person who she just brushes it off and keeps going. Like she doesn't really care to hear your reasoning behind what you did. She's just like, you did it. there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm gonna, like, she doesn't ask questions. So there are things I really wish she would have asked questions about though in this book. And so that is the reason why, like, I feel a little bit kind of wanting a little bit more, but the way that it's written, I totally understand why we didn't get some answers to the questions that I would like to have that I would have asked. And so, yeah, that doesn't even make sense, but this is a good book. I highly recommend it. That's all of the books that I read in January. I did start Echo by Thomas Oldhuvelt, the audiobook, but it got returned before I could finish it. It's about 19 hours long, I believe, or somewhere between 19 and 21, I think. And so I'm waiting to get that book back before I can finish it. And I guess it's time to choose a book of the month. And it's really, I mean, I guess I have to choose You Weren't Meant to Be Human because it's the only 5-star book that I've read this month. But Skin is definitely very, very close. Because this was a good journey, but so was You Weren't Meant to Be Human. The artistry in these writers, I love it. So yes, my book of the month of January is going to be You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. So yeah, that's January. And then I just wanted to share what I'm reading now. I'm currently reading Wuthering Heights. I'm annotating it. I'm doing a buddy read with my friends. So, and one of my friends here on YouTube, Haley Haunt, that's their name on TikTok. I don't know her name here on YouTube, but I think it's the same. So I will put her profile in the bio. And I'm really enjoying Wuthering Heights so far. I do have a deadline to read it by, so I gotta hurry up a little bit. I would like to have it finished by next Friday, the 13th. I do want to do a video on my annotation process once I get probably at the halfway point. So if there's interest in that, please let me know. Let me know what you read this January, and let me know what you think of the books that I mentioned, and if you have any interest in reading them yourself. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night. Bye.